Tashdile, this is Sakina Bhatt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. His Holiness the Dalai Lama delivers the keynote address at Silver Jubilee celebrations of Goa Institute of Management. His Holiness the Dalai Lama speaks about oneness of humanity at Eliza Jordan Memorial College in Leh. Tibet and India are family, says RSS Chief Sri Mohan Bhagwat to CTA President. Middle way mother tongue welfare groups are illegal in Tibet. China to face UN review for racial discrimination. His Holiness the Dalai Lama delivered the keynote address on today's relevance of India's ancient knowledge at the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the Goa Institute of Management on Wednesday this week. His Holiness highlighted the works of ancient Indian masters, calling ancient India the only country that paid attention to mental hygiene.
So these all your treasure, your knowledge. Now it is our, as a chela, it is our duty to make any contribution.
Only ancient Indian knowledge about mind and emotion that existed since 2000 years ago can combine modern education with ancient Indian knowledge. Therefore, I am trying to revive ancient Indian knowledge, His Holiness added. His Holiness further said that India, despite being the guru to the Tibetans on the rich ancient Indian tradition, have failed to keep the tradition alive. It is the Tibetan refugees in Karnataka who has managed to revive this ancient Indian knowledge. On Friday last week, His Holiness spoke about the importance of oneness of humanity at Eliza Jordan Memorial College in Leh, Ladakh. Referring to human beings bestowed with brain and intelligence and the capacity to communicate and receive education, His Holiness said that we have the responsibility to promote the concept of mental hygiene that includes guidance about tackling negative stimulus and reaction. His Holiness stressed on the need to develop an intriguing mind in order to gain wisdom.
The ancient Indian knowledge about our mind, about our emotion, then how to tackle this destructive emotion. Now, these ancient Indian knowledge now should bring into education field, not part of as a religion, but an academic subject, strictly secular way.
Recounting his personal experiences, His Holiness said that despite all the upheavals he had experienced throughout his life, His Holiness managed to maintain his inner peace through the trainings in Nalanda tradition and not necessarily by religious trainings. His Holiness visited the Chuksho Yokma Imam Barga Mosque in Ladakh on Thursday last week. The community representative expressed hope for organizing a conference of Muslims in Delhi later this year in the light of His Holiness's advice on maintaining harmony among different faiths. Calling the genesis of all problems facing mankind to narrow-minded approach and religious allegiance, His Holiness said, among Muslims, Sunnis and Shias pray to the same Allah but quarrel with each other. Buddhists pay tribute to the same Buddha yet indulge in sectarian conflict. The President of Central Tibetan Administration, Dr. Lobsang Singye, met for the first time with Sri Mohan Bhagwat, Chief of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, during his visit to the Norgeling settlement in Bhandara in Maharashtra on Monday this week. The meeting discussed on key issues relating to environmental and political situation in Tibet, Indo-Tibet ties and the geological impact of the ongoing situation in Tibet on India and the rest of the world, particularly the South Asian countries, considering the strategic significance of Tibet. Sri Mohan Bhagwat shared his and RSS's admiration for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and spoke of the importance of peace, adding that the war and violence won't succeed. Calling India and Tibet as family, the RSS chief assured his support and to render his voice to raise the issue of Tibet. Recent report and official circular issued earlier this year labeled any expressions that support the middle way protect Tibetan's mother tongue, and engagements of Kiduk, Tibetan Welfare Group, as underground forces and illegal. Chinese authorities in the so-called Tibet Autonomous Region issued a circular earlier in February that ordered Tibetans to spy on each other and report on underground forces to the Public Security Bureau. According to the Human Rights Report, the restrictions and guidelines are intended to increase the authority of the Chinese Communist Party at the grassroots level by destroying any remaining influence of lamas and traditional leaders within Tibetan communities, which clearly shows the guidelines are designed to target Tibetans. The UN Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination will convene its 96th session next week to review anti-discriminatory practices in China, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Cuba, Latvia, Japan, Mauritius, and Montenegro. The delegates from state under review will present a report detailing their efforts to eliminate discrimination and implementation of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination in the respective states. In light of the impending review, China has submitted a 31-page report to the committee. The self-praised submission detailed progress made by China in the implementation of the convention from 2008 to 2015. It also claimed that the report was prepared with the direct participation of the persons from the ethnic minorities. The Tibet Bureau, Geneva, in coordination with UN and Human Rights Desk of Department of Information and International Relations, presented an outline of state-designed discrimination facing Tibetan people under the Chinese policies in Tibet. The report highlights several issues of human rights violations. China was reviewed last by the committee in 2009. So much for this week. See you next time and have a great weekend.